Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another guitar lesson. I'm going to show you a song today called Spanish Strings. This is a song that I put together for my students as kind of an introduction to chords, super simple chords. It's a pretty short little song, and the whole purpose of this song is basically to get you guys pressing down more than one note at a time on your left hand. So, without further ado, here's the song. Alright, so the first thing you may have noticed about this song is that the rhythm is very steady, right? There's no pauses, there's no rests or anything. It's just all quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so our ultimate goal here is to keep a really steady rhythm, and the big thing I see with a lot of students is they tend to pause in between measures. So for example, if I'm playing measure 1, sometimes people pause from going from first string back to third string. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that in between measures there's no pause there so we can keep that steady beat going. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, depending on where you're at in your lessons, I sometimes have my students just use their thumb to pluck the strings, kind of like this. If you think you're ready and you've already kind of practiced finger picking a little bit, you could actually try using 3 different fingers, right? So you could do thumb, index, middle, P, I, M, just like that. Okay, now let's talk about the left hand. So, the thing that we don't want to do in this song is treat the notes as individual notes, as in pressing down, lifting off, and then going to the next note. Okay, so we don't want to do that. We don't want to play it like this. We want to play it like this. So it's as simple as holding 2 notes down at the same time. In this case, it's an A note and a C note, okay? Now these 3 notes, A, C, E, form the chord A minor. This is a very simplified version of the chord, okay? But it's one I like to start with because it's easy on the fingers. It's just a 2-finger chord. Now, if I had one piece of advice to give everybody when you first try this out, it's to make sure that these fingers here are nice and curved, okay? So a lot of people tend to have kind of flat fingers like this when they start out. You want to make sure that you're playing on the very tips of your fingers and that they're nice and curved, so there's a big arch to your fingers. These knuckles are pointing outwards. The reason you want to make sure you do that is because if you don't, what'll happen is you'll get notes that sound muted because your fingers are pressing, or they're touching strings that they're not supposed to. So make sure you keep those fingers nice and curved the entire time. Okay, now that's a good chunk of the song right there. If you notice in measure 3, we go to all open notes, okay? So even though this is a chord, it's an E minor chord, all of the notes are open, so it kind of eases up on your left hand. But don't take those fingers too far off the strings because in the next measure, we have to go right back to that A minor shape that we just talked about. So when you go from A minor to E minor, just barely take those fingers off enough to play the open notes and then place them right back where they're supposed to go. Okay, the third chord in here is a G chord. And again, this is a very simplified G chord. It's just 3 notes. This one isn't too hard because we only have one note that we actually have to press down. That would be G note with the third finger, ring finger. Okay, now that's pretty much the whole song. This song is meant to be nice and short and simple. If you find yourself practicing and you're having a hard time, pressing down all the notes, specifically in the A minor chord, make sure to just kind of give your fingers a break if you need to. I know chords can be a little difficult at first, but that's why I wrote this song to be very simple chords, so that we don't bite off more than we can chew. So, all right. So that's Spanish Strings. Hope you enjoy this song. Let me know if you have any questions on it. And till then, happy practice.